This is the only thing that matters. Is it going to make me take this finger and go and push the dial to go and listen to somebody else when your song comes on?
King Cino, Hot 91, holding y'all one out there at the top. So we had a discussion about, artists trying to get their music on radio. Okay, so first off, I'm a new artist. I sent my song to the email that I found online. That was a month ago. No one ever responded, and I never heard a song on radio.
So typically, I will get a lot of music on a weekly basis. If I had to say an average, sometimes 10, 20 songs from artists. I want to make sure that I'm in the right frame of mind when I go to listen to your music. I respect artists and their music. So a music director's position nowadays is a lot more than what you may think. Like, he has put the music on and that's what it is. Now there's a lot involved with it. So I for me, I have to make sure I get in the right frame of mind. So you may send me the email today. I may not check my email today. I usually assign like one day where I sit down and I go through artist music. That's usually closer to the weekend when I can have a clear slate, my phone not ringing off the hook and things of that nature. So it'll usually be a couple of days before I get to it. When I get to it, it doesn't mean that I'm always going to respond. Generally, I try to at least say the song has been received. And when I say that I received it, that means I have it, I've downloaded it, I've listened to it. But I don't really have the time to go to every individual artist and tell you, well, it's going to play on such and such a day.
The follow-up question now to that is, as a program director, isn't it your job to go through the music, all of the music? Like even if it's 100 songs a day? I mean, what are the other priorities that would stop you from listening to my song? Because I'm only really concerned about my song.
Yeah, well, the reason why you're concerned about your song is because obviously we would have you getting your song on the air is because we have a listener base that's going to be able to hear your song. And we don't get a listener base by accident. There's a lot of work that goes into that. Whether it's promotions, whether it's dealing with staff issues, believe it or not, as nice as my staff is, they cost me to pull my hair out sometimes. All this gray that you see here, this is all from my... I was fine before this, bro. But for me, that's always been a huge supporter of local talent. I assign a specific time just for you. I don't mix you up when I'm listening to Drake. Okay. I don't mix you up when I'm listening to anybody with the first name Little. You know what I'm saying? I take my time and I just deal with the Bahamian artists in their own chasm, and that's my focus, is just to deal with going through my local artists. Sure.
Okay, so next question. It's way more easier and convenient for me to send you a song via WhatsApp. You have an issue with that?
Yes, I do. Couple of things. First off, in major markets, you getting the music director's phone number, personal cell phone number, is highly, highly, highly unlikely, right?
Right.
So don't abuse it, right? Can you imagine if I have, let's say, 30 artists, 40 artists, and all of them are sending me songs through WhatsApp? First off, that means that more than likely the first place I'm going to see it is going to be on my phone. Of course, you have WhatsApp web, but the first place that I'm going to see it more than likely is going to be on my phone. You really want my first listen of your song to be through the speaker on my cell phone. And second off, when you send your music, when you're transferring your music through WhatsApp, they compress that sound. So you're not going to have your actual proper studio sound. So again, you're disrespecting your music. You're kind of not having respect for my time either. I mean, there certainly are artists that you build a rapport with, and they'll be like, "See, what do you think of this?" And when I have time, I'll listen to it. But it's usually easier when you email it to me.
That's not an official submission when an artist send you a song that have a relationship with you. Okay. Yeah, I feel.
Yeah, it's definitely. I won't play a song that you send me on WhatsApp. First off, it doesn't contain any of the meta tag information that I need. Your artist name, song track, all that kind of stuff. So, Yeah, the most I'm gonna do is maybe give it a listen and say, okay, yeah, I like it, or no, I don't like it. But I don't. For me, I don't like that. I think it disrespects your craft. You know, the time, and you know, for you to tell me that it's easier. No, this isn't about easier. This is about professionalism. This is about doing things in an orderly fashion, so I can respect you the same. I'm going to respect your artistry, and I want you to respect my time. Yeah, so I can't tell you how many times I've gotten a file, an email from an artist, and it will say in the track name, it'll say track number 1, and that's it. Right. So now imagine I'm downloading, 20 plus songs, and I have to listen to them, and I get to your song and it doesn't have, I can't tell that it was Dyson Night. I can't tell the name of the song. I don't have any of that kind of information. The basic information is who are you and what is this song? What's the name of this song? I don't have any of that. So guess what happens to that song? It goes into my junk pile. And there's this interesting button that starts with D on my laptop that gets the letters are starting to rub off of it. If you can't respect your art craft enough to say, hey, let me at least attach the name of the song to the file, right? And that's so important, especially when I'm moving it from my computer and uploading it into our system. It has to have that meta information. It has to say what song is this and which artist is this. Yeah, so I mean, if you go to our website, you'll be able to find the information there on the website about submitting your music, but it's also airplay at hot917fm.com. That comes directly to me.
Now, this next question is one that I think people laugh about a lot. Dyson calling the radio station to request Dyson Night song. How do you view that as a program director?
Annoying. I could add, you take any expletive word and put it in front of it and end it with annoying. I've worked at a couple of different radio stations, but even as a radio personality, it's not genuine. Like, you can tell as soon as you pick up the phone that this is someone that's staged. I mean, what the funniest one for me is, like, they're calling you and they're saying, boy, y'all jamming, y'all carrying on bad right now, but you can play my boy Dyson, blah, 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 blah. And then you listen in the background and the boy ain't even listening to your station, you listen to somebody else. It's like, but yet you want me to play the song, So no, it doesn't. That's not how it works. I know there seems to be this thing that we think that if you get people to request your song, that's how you get your song on the air, and honestly, no, that's not how it works. Let me tell you, there's a couple of problems with that, and one of them is about you getting paid as an artist, right? So I know we're going to get into the publishing side of it, but just quickly, just that part of it, when that is not scheduled, when your song, let's say Dyson Night song, is not scheduled in my log, and the radio personality just goes and takes whatever song and puts it inside the log, which first off is a no-no. That's not supposed to happen. And one of the reasons why it's not supposed to happen is if it isn't in my log that I export out to the radio, Dyson doesn't get any credit for that. Yeah, it played on the air, but it's not in our logs. So Dyson doesn't get any credit for him publishing to be paid for that. So that's mistake number one. There's other ways I think that artists locally can try to create a vibe. I mean, there's been songs that I've missed. There's been songs that artists haven't sent to me. That's a whole different discussion. Like, artists would send it to this station, but they wouldn't send it to me. Then, 3 months down the road, they're like, well, why aren't you playing my... Oh, bro, you never sent me the song. You're not on any record, pools or anything of that nature. So, but it's hot on the street. Yeah, but I don't go and pick up music off the street. On the sidewalk. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I have an email address. You can email it to me. And if you email it to my competitor, then you know I have a problem now. Now we got a problem. Yeah, but no, having people call to the station, I mean, that's all fine and good if that's what you want to do, but it doesn't affect my decisions as a music director necessarily. I mean, it has, like I said, there has been local songs that I've missed. And my DJs will kind of turn me on to it and say, like, boy, this song ringing in the club. When I sit down and have my music meetings with them, or, so-and-so is playing this, and then I'll then get turned on to it. But by listeners, your fans, your fan base calling you, I mean, there's a one thing that I tell people all the time, there's a huge difference between a record song, a great album song, and a great radio song. Why your fans might love it and it may be a great album song, it's not a good radio song.
Gotcha.
So those are the specifics. So they could call 1 billion times, it still doesn't make it a good radio song. There's probably not been anybody that's worked at more radio stations in this market than me. so let me just say that first. And so I've never had a music director walk up to me and say, have people been requesting Dyson song? It's never happened in all the stations that I've ever been to. Like we don't have a sheet of paper there, like marking down, like, okay, 15 people call for Dyson song. I've never seen it in all the places that I've worked. It's never happened. It's not something that we do. And I've done work, PR work and different stuff for different stations and different markets. And same thing there. It just doesn't happen. That's not. It can be manipulated in such a way, like I said, like, okay, you may have a great fan base, but you could be a crappy artist. That's just, so it's like I'm subjecting, you may have 100 fans, but I have 100,000 listeners, and your 100 fans are subjecting my 100,000 listeners to your crappy song. I mean, we're a top 20 urban Caribbean formatted station. So we play, we'll play hip hop, we'll play reggae, we'll play, soca, traditional Bahamian music. We'll play all of that. So a little bit of pop music as well here and there. So
now, the B side of the question: how does that affect the songs that I submit?
It doesn't. So at least for me, I mean, I like I said, because I've always been a supporter of local artists, and there's a couple of guys in this industry that from time have supported local artistry and local artists. I can't go into all the nuts and bolts of exactly what I do and how I do it on air because I'm giving away trade secrets. But what I will say is that I just the same way that I sit down and I look at Bahamian artists and listen to their music in its own box. I don't expect you. I have open slots. The best way I can say it is I have open slots specifically for Bahamian artists. Okay. That regardless, these are your slots. It just depends how much good music I get is going to fill it, or it's going to be filled by something else. To me, it doesn't matter. Actually, I've been quite surprised as of late. I've started to get some pop music. The only thing that I could say from local artists that I don't put into rotation is like soft rock. Like I've gotten a couple of soft rock songs and I was like, yeah, they're cool, but they don't fit into the overall feel of our station. Like we don't play soft rock, so I can't necessarily play. Like we don't play Christian music, so it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. You could send me a Christian song, and it'd have to be really, really good. Like it'd have to be a great crossover song, right? For example, stuff that Ricardo Clark does and things of that nature. Got to be a great crossover song, and then I'll play it. We have that format, and I've got to really stick with that format because when the listeners come to our station, they know what they're gonna hear. Right.
Precisely. Someone told me that I needed a radio version of my song without the cussing and heavy language. All right.
Does it use cuss?
Cut.
So first off, when we get music from the labels and things of that nature, they're sending a radio version, which is already edited. Now, edited to US standards is different from editing to Bahamian standards. And it really boils down to your imaging, what you're kind of looking for, and then also what your leadership says is acceptable and not acceptable. And then you personally, what you find acceptable or unacceptable. And again, it's all about your imaging that you want for your station and things of that nature. I don't like the N-word a whole lot. So, that's I just have a thing with that for me. I haven't heard from Urker about that before, but I know for me personally, I don't like it. So when I hear that and it's like it's over, I'll be like, hey, listen, let's clean that up. There's other things that you can do besides using that. In the U.S., they kind of get away with the A word. I've heard some songs that come from labels with the B word allowed for ladies, describing ladies, and so I will. Depending on if it's a really good song, it's a charting song, then I'll edit that out. But 99.99% of the time, it is the responsibility of the artist.
Right.
If your song is not a super banger, I'm not going to waste my time editing it. I'm just going to be real with you. And that you are supposed to send your song radio edited for the market that you're playing it in. Don't worry about America. Understand that we have some different restrictions on us. With IRCA, who's the body that oversees radio stations,
right?
And I don't like getting letters from IRCA or emails from my bosses saying that this one complained and that one complained because of content in your song. Well, I would just turn that question right around to how come your engineer, when you were in the studio doing your mixing and mastering, why didn't they fix it? It's not our job to fix your song. It's not our job to do the meta tag information. It's not our job to edit anything. We're not in partnership with you. You are asking us to be a part of our audience getting to know you or getting to know your song. So it's not our it's not our job to fix those things for you. It's your job to make sure that as a professional you bring it ready to go. So we pay publishing to the publishing companies, and basically this is what I was explaining a little bit earlier. So what happens is about like playing your song without it being scheduled by me, right? As a music director. So every 6 months I have to send my logs into the publishing companies, and we pay a fee, right? And they then go and they look at our logs and they would say Dyson songs played 100 times, right?
Gotcha.
So whatever calculations the publishing companies work out on 100 times on Hot 91, that's what Dyson gets, that percentage of that money that we paid to the publishing company. So that's why it's so important that your songs, I see a lot of guys get all hyper about, getting the song played once or twice on a particular specific show.
Right.
But the best thing is to try to work on getting your music into rotation.
Gotcha.
And not just calling your boy, who's the radio personality, who potentially could be fired for doing this, just going and sliding your song in. But you can't just slide that song in for me, because because that makes music directors very unhappy.
What is the benefit of having it in the mix shows, which to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, does not reap residuals?
Yeah, so the benefit of the mix shows is, first off, those are very popular. They're in prime time positions. Again, it's about imaging. It's about getting your song out there, keeping it out there. That's really what that's about. So yeah, in our market, we do not pay for mix shows, right? But in other markets, literally the DJs have to give a printout of what songs they've mixed. Yeah, they have to give out a log. So that's not required, thank goodness for us as of yet. But tell
us what a mix show is, because I didn't say that too.
Yeah, so basically a mix show is where you have your DJ and they are going to play parts of a song. They don't play the complete song, and then they're mixing and blending them together where they're almost creating artwork. That's really what it is. When I tell people when they're DJing, they're creating art. So it's like a painter taking, 30 different colors and putting them together and giving you a piece of artwork. And that's what a mix show is. Yeah, so it really depends on, first off, if I like it. That's the first thing. And second off, how much slots do I have open? So I may not have a slot open this week. Like I may have too many Bahamian artists, like too many local artists. And so all my slots are kind of filled for that, right? Just an example. So it may have to wait till next week, or it may have to wait until the week after, or it may, you know what I'm saying? It just really depends on when the slots open up, how hot I think your song is. Will really be the deciding factor of where I slot it and when I slot it. So it's kind of hard to say, like, you can't say, well, you sent me the song. Like literally, I just got an email yesterday. A guy sent me a song on Friday, and then he's like, I hope to hear it on the radio on Monday. Well, bro, it don't work like that, because it really depends too on when I do my music logs. So a little secret about me is I usually do my music logs on the weekend. Yeah. Right. I usually go through the music. I usually go through my music on Friday or Saturday, right? Right. And so this is also about understanding what different radio stations do. A different music director that might be different for him.
Right, of course.
This is the sequence that works for me. I know a lot of music drops on Friday, so I'll usually wait to see if there's anything new that comes out on Friday, and then that will be the stuff that bangs out on Monday. You know, starting like that. Yeah. So, but it depends. There's so many factors. It's hard for me to say, well, yeah, it'll start, you know, in a week or 2 weeks, and it also depends on who you are. It's sad to say it, but you know, I'm gonna look at my A-list local artist songs before I look at somebody that I've never heard of before.
True.
You know, I mean, that's just facts, because they have a track record. We've developed a track record of okay, listen, I know when I click on this, the meta tag information is going to be there. The song is going to be clean and edited. He's going to have all of his stuff together. You know, I don't need to see the artist picture and all this other kind of stuff. I don't need to see all of that. This thing is going to be ready to go. The quality is going to be right. He's going to the top of the list. He's an A-list artist, and that takes time. To develop. I mean, I think every A-list artist in this market that has had contact with me has heard me say no.
Yeah,
and some of them might get mad, but then they understand that, like, boy, C-Note is just going to say the real. He's going to say what he feels, and I'll just add that a lot of times I'm right. It's like, yeah, a lot of times I'm right. I've been doing this long enough, you know, and it's like, yeah, I told you this wasn't a hit. Once playing it, you should have just kept it as the album. Like, why you get mad at me because I didn't play the song? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, it's nothing personal. You know, when you always remember this, and this is with anything in life, when you ask for an opinion, don't ask if you don't really want the honest truth. Unless you're just going to ask a brown noser. I mean, that's not me. I'm going to be real with you because I want you to get better, and I get better when you get better. Yeah.
And I think if you can't receive that, just like how you said that, then you ain't really ready for this industry on no level.
Definitely
on no level.
Again, most markets, you won't even get to talk to me.
There you go.
You won't get no answer. You won't get nothing. The song won't play. Let's say we have in every hour in a clock, you have 10 positions where you can put songs. Let's just say 10 to 12, right? Each one of those positions is a slot. So I could slot a Bahamian song there. I could slot a hip hop song there. I could slot a reggae song there. It all depends how I want to fill up that particular hour. So that's what a slot is. It's basically a category where I have your song.
Right. But okay, so you said a song is pretty much around 3 minutes.
Yep.
Like an hour is 60. So if it's 10 slots, then that's only 30 minutes, like 30 plus minutes, maybe 40 minutes at most. What do you do with the other 20?
Sell them. Resell them. Yeah,
right.
Commercials.
So
you got commercials.
Right.
You've got remotes. You've got the radio personality that wants to talk for 30 minutes. Hi, Rika.
Right.
You know, you've got.
Hey, neighbor.
Yeah, so you've got all of that compiles into eating up the rest of your slot time.
What do you listen for when choosing songs to put in rotation?
For me, the first 15 seconds, the 30 seconds of your song are really critical to my little delete button. And whether I'm gonna continue. The first couple of things that come out of your mouth, you know, it really sets the tone for me, because that's what set the tone for the listener. So don't come on there with, hey. Wait, when we get into the song, boy? When we get into the song, bro? Right? Like when are we getting there? So, you know, I will give a song a listen, but it's really critical those first 15 to 30 seconds, man, to grab my attention. Does this song, this is the critical thing, because people ask me the question that you ask a lot, does it have the it factor? Is, you know, for me, when I look at it, does this have the potential to be a mega hit? Could be, may not be. Am I gonna, you know, there's a lot of songs, you know, that I give like a little slide rule to. It's like, it may not be a mega hit, but let me get him a blind. Right. But I can't do that if, and especially it's one thing Bahamian artists love to do, especially the rappers. They have that one friend that can't rap, but that's their boy. And they won't put their boy on the song. And they boy, like the song going great. I've had this happen so many times. Song going great, listening, and then the last boy to come on there and rap. And like, yo, this boy can't rap, the boy can't sing. Why the boy on the record? Mash up the whole record.
Oh boy,
mash up the whole record.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
So it's gotta be a mega hit from start to finish for me. And it's got to have that it factor. And as artists, I know a lot of times we get so caught up in our minds because this is our artwork, and we think that everything that we produce is great and fantastic, you know. But the music directors have to kind of come and bring you back to reality and be like, no, it's not. It might be okay album song, but it's not for radio.
Because I could see a song like that being good for a mix show, but it really can't make the log because the full song isn't a good experience for the listener. Is that
exactly? So it's like you have some classic dancehall songs, right? That like they are great in a mix show, but like if you put them in the regular rotation where you have to listen to the entire song and not just a minute and 30 seconds of it, it kind of like I've gone to sleep now. You know what I'm saying? So that those are one of the factors that really make a difference in a good radio song.
Gotcha.
I think there's a couple of things, you know, be professional. The number one thing again is be prepared to hear no. And then go back to the lab and just continue to work and not be like, well, the hell with C-Note, he don't like me, have a vibe with me or whatever else. You know, I hear it all the time, you know. And I don't. It ain't about that. It's just this song, for me, as the gatekeeper of this radio station, doesn't do it. I know the criteria that my senior management puts on me, what they expect, and so it doesn't fit all of that. It doesn't fit that. And sometimes it's about timing too, you know. But for me, the deciding factors for me in regards to putting your music on and getting it in rotation, just be professional, put the work in. It could happen overnight. You could just hit that one song, like it just be bam. Like I've seen it happen where you got guys that and then everything else they put out after that just doesn't live up to that particular standard.
I feel you.
So, and you're only as good as your last song. Just like radio personalities, you're only as good as your last break. So you can't look at and say, you know, I had hit song 5 years ago. Yeah, but what have you done in the last 5 years? So every song kind of, you know, will stand on its own, but just continue to put your work in. And you know, you know, I like just keep doing your thing. Just keep doing your thing. So, and then ask questions. You know, like sometimes like maybe I maybe can't answer it in an email, but maybe if you see me somewhere and we get a chance to talk, you can ask me and I can tell you like I don't know all of the ins and outs inside an engineering when an engineer is doing his thing and his mixing and his mastering and he's telling you it sounds great, but he's never been a music director. He's a musician, right? So he's never been a music director. So sonically, it may sound great to him, but I'm taking it from the position of a trained listener.
Right.
You know, and I'm putting myself in the shoes of my listener. And is this going to make me do? And this is the only thing that matters. Is it going to make me take this finger and go and push the dial to go and listen to somebody else when your song comes on? I try to limit that. That's what you try to limit. You can't stop everybody from doing it, but you try to limit that. Is this song going to make people tune out and get away from my radio station, or is it going to make them stay and say, "Let me get Dyson song a chance. His last song was horrible, but let me try this one." Boom.
You could have started with that, man. Gotta be in it.
I'd save the best for last, but. Yeah. With my station and every other station that I've been to in this market, one person. Usually what happens, the way that it works is the program director usually sets the this is how we want the format of the station to be. This is the kind of direction that we want to go in. This is what I want. And then the music director will then pull down songs and, you know, generally what will in big markets will usually happen is the program director still has the final say in what you do. But basically the music director is the gatekeeper. He is the DJ of the radio station. So it's like you hire a DJ to play at your party.
Right.
He is the DJ. He's the one outside of the mix shows that controls, and even in the mix shows, he kind of controls what happens because he lays the groundwork for those DJs, and they know that listen, this is what you're supposed to be playing and not supposed to be playing. So basically that's what it is. I mean, I'm the DJ for the radio station in essence. I don't need to know what school you went to. I don't need to know who your favorite teacher was, that you pulled for the Lakers. I don't need to, I'm not going to read all of that. I see a lot of artists, they want to put their whole bio in there. And that's not going to affect my decision on whether I play your song or not. What will help you, at least for me, is, hey, I'm a 242 artist. If I don't know you, if you're not known to me, because I get music from artists from other regions as well. So sometimes if I'm not sure, like sometimes you could open it up and you'll tell right away, that's a Bahamian artist, right? The language or whatever else, right? You could tell right away. If you're an unknown artist to me. So let's say I've never heard of Dyson before, and Dyson sends me a soca song. Well, I may not be sure if Dyson from the Bahamas or if he's from Trinidad. And remember, I have those specific slots that are for Bahamians. So I may email Dyson back and I'll be, Dyson, where are you from? Give me a little bit of information on you. So if you're an unknown artist to that music director, giving some very basic information about yourself, I don't need to hear all about how you have a love for music and all this other. I don't necessarily need to hear all of that. Yeah, this is not Oprah, right? But so basically a very brief bio, 242 artist. My name is so-and-so, bang, boom. The file name that you save it as. So let's just say the attachment, it needs to be your artist name first with a dash, and then your song name, right?
Got it.
So don't let it be track number 2, in case they download it and I lose it among a bunch of other stuff. So artist name, song name. And then your meta tag information, make sure that that's in there, artist name, song name, and that pretty much does it for me. And we give it a listen, and if it's something that I like, I'll play it. If it's something that's really horrible, I'll send it to Dyson so Dyson can laugh at the song too. But here's my thing: you're still going up against Beyonce and Jay-Z for those slots, So let me again. I don't want to get too much into my secret sauce, but but the way that, and I explained this to an A-level artist over here before, and I explained it to him, is this: if there's a category that Jay-Z is in, Drake is in, Bahamian artists are in that category as well. So if I have like a hit category that Drake is in, you have the same ability to get into that category as well. I'm just talking about the amount of different Bahamian songs that I'm rotating in a given week. That's what I kind of mean. So I have a particular number that I say, hey, this is all I'm going to kind of put in here right now, because what it does is also favorable to you as well, so you don't get watered down with a bunch of other stuff that isn't all that good. So I try to pick the best. And it was like we had a conversation about like the rhythm, we could probably talk about that a little bit, like you're on a rhythm now, right? And so artists that go on rhythms like that, they have to understand that I'm not going to be able to go and play every song off of the rhythm because they're Bahamian artists. I will kind of have to go through and make a decision of which one I think is for me to start off with, and it could be so many different deciding factors. This is all, there's a lot of different deciding factors, and then I will then go and I'll start playing that song. It doesn't mean that I won't play the other ones. It doesn't mean that the mix shows won't play the other ones. They'll just play at another time. Because your vocals are an instrument. So, you're just a different instrument on the same rhythm, the same beat. I can't have six of those running. Then no one song, no one song catches. Right. And my whole goal with local artists and music on the whole is repetition and getting the song to catch. Programming people that, but this is a good song.
So, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate this. Not just for me, but for everyone that has an interest in this. And because for me, I want people to take music seriously. And I want them to take the whole art form seriously and to be professional and to strive to be international. I really think that program directors and music directors like yourself have been extremely instrumental in raising that bar by telling people, nah, bro.
Yeah, this one not make it.
That ain't it. All right, so thanks, man. I appreciate you, and I'm sure everybody else will.
Thank you much, boy.
All right, cool.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, we platinum now. That took a minute because obviously I don't know what I'm doing.